Hey people, it is Sunday the 16th of November, currently 2:42 p.m. and about 5 degrees Celsius, but feeling much colder than that due to this extremely strong and freezing wind today. The wind is absolutely ridiculous today. It makes it feel like below zero, I think, with the wind chill. And every once in a while, little tiny flakes start falling down from the sky, even when there's no clouds above. I think the air is just crystallizing from the cold wind. But I'm here on Queen Street West, just at University Avenue there. And I'm going to take a walk along Queen West. Not sure how far I'll go, but the point of the walk today is I was reading the Toronto subreddit recently, and someone made a post on there about how they were taking a walk along Queen Street here, Queen West, and they were very concerned about the very high number of vacancies as that wind kicks up here. Yes, they noticed what they thought was an extremely concerning number of vacancies along Queen Street West. And of course, many comments followed bemoaning the basically current state of Queen West compared to back in the glory days and that sort of thing. Things are so much better, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever the case may be. So I thought I'd take a walk along here and maybe we'll just actually count how many vacant spaces we see along Queen West. I've walked along here many times recording videos, and yeah, there are always some vacant units, but it seems to me that the street is still very busy and bustling with lots of businesses that are doing okay, seemingly anyway, and many have been here for decades that are still going. And there are always new businesses constantly opening along Queen West. So if there are vacancies, they usually don't last very long. But I'm sure there are some spots that just are cursed and just cannot seem to find a tenant. So I'm going to do my best to try and spot all the vacancies as we walk along Queen West. And being it's such a cold and windy day, it's probably not going to be as busy as usual for a Sunday afternoon. Okay, I see across the street, retail for lease. That used to be Adrenaline, a tattoo place. So that's one. I'll try to count these as I go. Oh, I see another one actually. Just a bit further down, another retail for lease space there. So that's two. I thought I'd try and see what the deal is here, because Reddit tends to catastrophize things, I find. A lot of doomers on that site tend to make things sound much worse than they really are. And I got the sun shining right in my face. Okay, I see a for lease sign here, so that's 3. Another one here, that's 4. And one across the street there, that's 5. So already we're getting off to a good start here, I guess, or a bad start, I guess you could say. But I mean, obviously this first block here is pretty well full of businesses, right? So we're at 5. sure I'll miss one here and there. To walk a bit slower than usual also and scan both sides of the street.
If I get back, then we can like figure out
what.
Crossing McCall. Okay, I think I see an empty spot across the street. There's no sign or anything, but it looks empty. And it's Sunday, so some places might just be closed also today. But that seems to be vacant. There's no signage or anything, so that's 6. I think that place is just closed for the moment there. I don't think that's vacant necessarily. All right, here's 7. And this is empty. It's been empty for a long, long time. This is number 8. This is one of the neatest spaces here on this part of Queen. I wish something would come along here again. It used to be a little market. I think this building is actually mostly vacant now, but it's not really a retail business per se. That's the old Much Music building. So I don't think we'll count that. We're at John Street. Famous Queen and John.
Live stream.
There's still enough people on here to make it a bit hard to pan around and notice things without colliding with someone. Okay, I thought that was vacant, but it looks like it's just, the windows are just covered up there, so. False alarm. Here's the black market. This has been here for decades. It's moved around a bit, but the business has been on Queen West for decades. Alright, so we're still at 8.
People like that. Visibility.
Crossing Beverly Street. All right, that's the old HMV, I think. So that's number 9. That's a big space to fill. I think a major retailer will have to come along and take that space. HMV has closed a number of locations around the city in the last year or two. Still no shortage of cool places along Queen West, despite what Toronto Reddit might say. I think, no, is that open? I think that's a new place coming, a new restaurant. So that's going to be filled up soon, that space. So we're still at 9. And I guess that's empty right across the street. That's number 10. Looks like the building is a bit of a work in progress though. Looking down Peter Street. What a miserable, cold day. Feels more like winter. Okay, I see one there. Retail for sublease. It's 11, and right beside it another one, so that's 12. Brandy Melville with its usual lineup or crowd in front. And it's swamped inside. Looks like Lids has opened in that space just recently. So we're still at 12. Got some long-standing businesses here, the Rivoli. Some relatively new additions here. This Chick-fil-A. The sun is so low in the sky already. Mid-afternoon. Steve's Music has been there forever. All right, here's another one, 13.
What are we putting there?
And across the street. I think that's 2 separate spaces, so that's 14 and 15. And it looks like Sushi Extra is all papered up. I'm not sure what the situation is there. Well, let's just count that, I guess. 16. And this other big space, that was the old H&M actually. Okay, that other one was something else. What was it? I'm not sure. But I guess that's 17. That's another space that'll need a major retailer to come along. So 17, I mean, you know, it's getting up there, but we've walked past probably a couple of hundred storefronts so far. Here's the Horseshoe, legendary. And this is a construction site, so we're not going to count that. And I think this is the part of Queen Street where the rents are the most expensive. I don't think I'm gonna bother trying to run across here. at Spadina. More construction on that corner for the subway. New subway line, new subway stations. So I'll go at least as far as Bathurst. And probably a bit past Bathurst, which is the most popular part of Queen Street. When people think of Queen West, they think of the stretch between University Avenue and Bathurst for the most part. Once you pass Bathurst, it becomes West Queen West, which is a different neighborhood. Same street, different neighborhood. But I think the rents are also cheaper once you go past Bathurst. And the stores tend to be more independent in nature, not so many chains. All right, let's keep an eye out here. Here's the Cameron House. This has been here forever also. Check out some live music. Queen West is still the heart of Toronto's live music scene, with a number of long-standing venues. Of course, live music is not what it used to be, but it's still doing pretty well, at least here in Toronto. Okay, that looks like 2 across the street I see there. So that's 18 and 19. I'm not sure if that tea place is going to be opening soon, or if it was open and now it's closed. So that might be a new business coming soon, I'm not sure. We'll just go with it's empty for now, so I'll count it. And I think the textile store across the street is just closed right now. So we're at 19. And Burrito Boys just recently moved into that space across the street. It's always nice to see. My local Burrito Boys just closed just today, I think, to make way for that new student residence that also closed the Imperial Pub. That whole block is shuttered now. All right, there's 20, number 20 across the street. And I think this is just closed for today. We're in the textiles district here along Queen. Looks like this will be closing, but as of now it's still open. So I won't count that. Another textile place just shut for the day. Still a lot of funky, cool shops along here. They're there if you actually try to look around and see what's here, you know? I think a lot of people just assume there's nothing. Because basically they grew up and don't hang out on Queen Street anymore like they did in the 90s or 2000s or something. So we're still at 20, I think, right? Is this an empty space? No, I think that's just a restaurant with dark windows. Looks like that place is currently empty. I'm not sure what the situation is. Not sure if a new place is coming there once again. So I guess we'll count it. 21. I know if I don't count it, someone will say, hey, you weren't counting things. So 21. Because I think some people really want to believe that everything is just gone to shit and things are worse than they have ever been. And if anyone tries to tell them things aren't as bad as they think, they just don't want to hear it. They want things to be bad. They want to wallow in doom and gloom, I think. Okay, we have a place there. It says new place coming soon, so I'm not going to count that. That space has been leased. So we're still at 21. But this is empty. So 22. Here's the Velvet Underground. I'm not sure if this is closed now or not. I think it is. I think the Velvet is closed now, yeah. So I guess for now this is empty. I think another place is going to probably open up here to continue on the live music tradition. So is that 23? I think we're at 23 now. And I guess whatever this is 24. Hey, the Office Movers. That's a cool show. I happen to know the director of that show. He's a cool guy. So 24. Yeah, it looks like that's being demolished. Whatever is going on there, I'm not too sure. All right, 25. Here's the Bovine. This place has been here forever also. More live music to be found in there. So fun and funky spots here as we continue west. All right, 26. We're almost at Bathurst now. These are just closed for the day. I see 27 across the street. All right, Bathurst. So I wonder if it'll get better or worse moving west of Bathurst. Things tend to be more independent and the rents tend to be cheaper, as I mentioned.
David.
Yeah, I mean, I only studied, because, like, I switched in the spring, and I was thinking, like, artist courses, because I, in the spring, because I had to, like, pass those, like, in the program. Yeah.
That's all right. I'll make sure I'm not missing anything here. It's kind of hard to see with the sun already in setting mode. So we're still at 27, I think. All right, looks like, oh, that's just closed for the day, I think, the dental clinic across the street. Well, so far this seems to be not as bad after crossing Bathurst. Not that it was horrible before, but there's one there, so 28. It's for sale. And this one also, 29. Got some funky galleries along here. At least the wind has died down a bit.
Which means
I think that's open. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to tell with those weed stores. They always tend to have covered up windows and that sort of thing. I don't think they add anything to the street, honestly. And I'm glad that there are fewer of them now than there used to be. So is this number 30? Just past Palmerston. Another empty space here. 31. I feel like I messed up my count here. Well, if I did, it's only by one, maybe. So I might end up with a higher number than it really is. See another one across the street. Let's say 32, I think. And this huge space. Yeah. That's going to take something big to fill that up. Let's say 33. Used to be a really cool store in there. Is that empty? I guess it is. Not sure if something is moving in there or not. So let's say 34. Toy terminal. There's the Silver Snail. This is their new home. For the last few years, anyway. It's a comic book store. Yeah, I think things are not quite as vacant. Just as I say that, I see another one across the street, 35. But once we pass Bathurst, so I think we're at 27 when we're at Bathurst Street, right? Now we're at 35, I think. There's another one, 36. And 37 right here. Is this empty? I think it is. So let's call this 38. Is this empty? I think it's a store. It has merchandise inside. It has a working TV. It just doesn't have a sign. Maybe they're in the process of getting a new sign. So I won't count that one. I think I see one across the street that's all papered up. So was that number 40? And Trinity Bellwoods, I think this is as far as I'm going to go here. See anything else within view from here, but yeah, I think we walked the most well-trodden part of Queen West here between University Avenue and Trinity Bellwoods Park, and there are no more than 40 empty storefronts, give or take one. So I think I messed up somewhere along the way maybe, but 40 might sound like a lot, but we walk past hundreds and hundreds of storefronts, right, between here and University Avenue. So 40, either that's, I guess, depending on how you perceive it, it's either not so bad or it's absolutely horrible, and Queen Street is in dire shape and we should all be very concerned. I don't know. I tend to think 40 for that amount of walking along that length of street is not too bad, really. Not sure how many storefronts we walked past. Let's say it was like 400 or 500. That's like 10%, less than 10% perhaps, vacancy. Not the best, but not the worst. But you know, I just wanted to come and check it out for myself, so I guess let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos, and if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal or via my merch store, or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member. Or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under K Continuum. So, thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members, and be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.